Previously on the Beam Chronicles.
The first cell of Row 1, recently reoccupied on Cidney's request, made brief eye contact with Micah Single.
I found Micah in a nearby town, struggling in an alley. Then I remembered decapitating him with my bare hands and bringing the head to my father.
Poor little monster in a suit, you have been lied to.
For my entire life, yes, but there are a few I trust.
The same growling, head-ripping beast now you were back then.
I am not, damn it. I am different.
Tell me, Equalizer of Beam, what is the fucking difference?
There's your difference, motherfucker.
We should focus our efforts on treating the symptoms since we're SOL tackling the cause for now. Evacuate the most crowded areas. Funnel them into all-beam subterranean places where Quez would have to dig for them, like the dungeon and the oubliette.
These are the Beam Chronicles, with your host, MJ Dooney. Book 3, Cataclysm, Chapter 12, Cidney Kovorski.
For 2 days, the evacuation was all we focused on, which was fine by me. I immensely appreciated the distraction from Jackson's torturous fate and Charlie's withdrawn days. And were someone to ask me how it was progressing at any random moment during those 2 days, I would classify the effort as something between an unsteady success and an utter train wreck, with oscillations between those two options occurring roughly every 5 minutes. It was a testament to how difficult it was to shepherd tens of millions of frightened citizens underground, unnoticed by the warrior prince of the Jingari bent on destroying the world, but simultaneously a testament to how well we worked under pressure, that any individual disaster across the entire country was only minutes away from being worked around. Cal Sparks, Mike Mathis, Lane Rector, and Murphy were sensational in coordination, organization, and keeping the hysteria to a minimum. Even Tim Sturgis somehow managed to keep his end of the ship sailing smoothly, with only occasional assistance from the rest of us. Again, there were surely hiccups along the way, as one would expect given the scope of our endeavor, and we still had no larger schemes for an ultimate solution to the Quez Topo problem, but all in all, for the time being, the world was pressing on. In spite of Quez Topo's rampage, his monumental death count, humanity was treading water thanks largely to Beam. Just as once we actually approximated heroism. That is, if you ignored the fact that we were responsible for the apocalypse in the first place. Charlie, as usual, was bar none our most valuable piece. Thankfully, her 2 years away from us did not obstruct the progress of her abilities in the slightest, and she had apparently gotten to the point that she could group other people rather efficiently, without much time spent sixing them at all. I recall 2 years ago when she spent a solid week sixing Phil before she managed to group him the first time. That sixing period had been cut significantly short by her natural improvements. For example, she returned Lane to California after maybe 5 additional minutes of sixing, and Madman to Louisiana with roughly 15. Cal took the longest of the 3, which I tried to explain to him had something to do with Charlie having an easier time sixing things that she liked. I did not intend for it to be an insult, just an explanation, but like most things, Sparks took it in stride, chuckling and smirking, working from HQ as best he could until Charlie eventually managed the proper familiarity to group him safely. Even Sturgis took less time than Cal, but she later explained to me that she rushed that process, risked misgrouping him and killing him, simply to save herself the trouble and time trying to six him perfectly. Her ability to get the most important people to the most important places instantly made the evacuation go off much more efficiently than it ever should have. We could not have even approached it without Charlie. Beyond my gratefulness for her contributions, though, I was just relieved she too had something to take her mind off of things. She was almost herself when she kept busy. The action was good for her. It was good for all of us. Just as I had managed to sway my mood to the positive end of the spectrum, selling myself on the merits of our feeble defensive maneuvers, the elevator doors to the dungeons opened and I stepped into the Hornet's Nest. Evacuees lined the walls in sleeping bags, and there was hardly enough space to move in the first place, but things got more problematic when they realized who I was. A flock of confused, hungry, cold, angry, and strangely excited refugees ambushed me, demanding the opportunity to reach out to loved ones, begging me for more sufficient food and water and shelter, questioning how long these conditions would last, and most frustratingly, requesting autographs. My mental assessment of the evacuation swung back to train wreck as I passed through them, trying my best to answer as many questions as I could in a non-committal fashion, inching toward the cell I had come down here to visit. I wished that I could group to my destination, but I had intentionally not acquired Charlie's services for this trip, so as not to distract her from more vital things. Truly, the cell I was working toward was the first one of the first row. It was a pain progressing through this mass, but at least I did not have far to walk. The intercom system of Leper's lockup would never function effectively with the constant howling from the refugees stalking the dungeon's halls, so I instead swiped my card through the reader, opened the glass, and stepped into my brother's cell. And the only thing saving us both from a stampede of civilians following me inside was that famous fetid stench Leper possessed, combined with the terrifying snarl he shot at the people trailing me. Through that foul, disturbing, scabby skull he wore patchworked around his head. Even in times of chaotic crisis, Leper was repellent enough to keep people at bay. "Micah," I said, as the glass shut behind me.
Brother Cidney, too long.
He replied, staring back up to the color bars on his cell's TV. "Oh, this does not seem to be a very interesting program."
No, I must be missing the draw of it as well, because they show it on every station.
He flicked through a few similar channels before shutting it off and rotating into a seated position on his cot.
Been a long time, brother. To what do I owe pleasure?
"Actually, I have brought you a gift," I explained, tossing him the fifth of vodka I had carried along. The reason I gave it to him was complicated. Every prisoner deserved a last request, and this would be Micah's, I knew without asking. Furthermore, I had always felt immense personal turmoil in the face of this twisted, skull-headed monster I called a brother. Being occasionally kind to him in spite of his vile helped me ease my guilt, if only slightly. Finally, I was here on a specific task. He would be more inclined to play the role I wanted if I led with a positive gesture. His mouth twisted at something behind me, and I glanced over my shoulder to observe a few burlier gentlemen in the crowd angrily but noiselessly bashing their fists into the glass of Leper's cell. He responded to their fury by taunting them with the bottle, wiggling it back and forth in the air as he snickered.
I would not call myself advocate for justice.
Micah cracked the cap off of it and drank it slowly so the men outside could only watch.
But there is no small bit of comedy and fat that they cram into a hole like can of sardines while I bask in luxury of full-size cell. Next time they bitch to you, tell them they should have killed someone. That's how you reserve the sweets.
I smiled, in spite of the crassness of the joke, the plethora of serious issues it belittled. It was strangely good to see Micah in his same grimy spirits, perhaps the comfort of one stable stone in a river of change. I expressed the sentiment aloud. It is nice to see a year and a half frozen in California. I did nothing to tamper your appreciation of gritty humor at another's expense, brother.
Some things never change, huh? Here you are too, still clawing for their approval and affection. 100 million slogans for Papa still don't seem to cut the mustard.
Actually, Micah, I have all the approval and affection I need. None of it comes from strangers. I do not know why I felt the need to clarify this, as clearly Micah did not care. Perhaps I myself required the reminder that I was not alone in the world, because that was precisely how he made me feel.
Right, I remember the select few you trust, or should I say trusted, yeah? Which is what makes particular situations so hard for you, right, Brother Cidney?
He hopped up to his feet, cracking his jaw loudly as he paced toward me.
Your favorite friend blows up the world, all you can do is nothing to stop it. Real deep personal dilemma, eh? Poor baby boy. Meanwhile, sheep in the hallway whine and moan over bad-tasting food. Temperature not precisely how they want it. Not enough space to stretch out their legs in just the way they like to when they take beauty sleep. And I would almost feel bad for you having to deal with that, except you made them like this. Dependent and entitled and expectant of certain services. They see Jackson Teak on news blows up the Capitol, and in unison they look to you to fix it. Save us, Cidney!
He swooned in a mocking falsetto.
What are you waiting for, Cidney? Impatient, dumb people, sure, but that's not why they cannot see difference between this one and the others. You never drew that line for them. You never made that distinction, so now it's all blurred together. You're always too good at the job, brother. They don't know any better than to expect to be saved.
In my defense, that conditioning was not my doing.
Maybe not directly.
He graciously granted, swigging from his bottle.
By the way,
He added after he gulped it down, pointing to the powered-off TV, shaking his head and distorting his face.
this guy, not Jackson Teak.
I knew that. But how did you?
Many reasons. Body language, his patterns, the theatrics, the way he makes it linger and draws it out over days instead of pushing planet into sun, be done with it. This is not a man with mercy, sense of right and wrong, any devotion to a moral code. This is not a man who has lost and seeks vengeance for his loss. This is not even a man who has forgotten his mind. Hell, this may not be a man at all. I tried to track him on that.
He nodded toward a crudely drawn picture of the country on the composite wall behind me, done in what appeared to be blood, with X's marking the sites of Questopo's reported hits.
Harder once TV signal cut, obviously, but I spent many years with people on the margins. I have seen every catalyst there is to promote wreck and ruin, recognize the patterns, and this one, I know this one. It's not new, it's not even rare. He kills just to kill.
Again, I was strangely pleased by his brutish consistency. I do not think it is that simple, Micah.
Well, you should hope that it is. Man who kills to kill is easy to handle.
Really? How so? His psychotic ramblings were at the very least amusing, occasionally enlightening, so worth encouraging, so long as he was trapped in here.
I'll answer you with the story, brother. Listen good.
And he took one more hefty pull from the vodka bottle before wiping his mouth on his forearm and corking it, then continuing.
When I escaped Kovorski's lab, first time, and you know.
He devilishly grinned as he tapped the bottom of his chin with the back of his hand, then clicked his teeth as he snapped his head back. I frowned, but he persisted with his story.
Head regrew weeks later. Realized I was free, but in the worst place for ugly monster, USA. Between beammen and brothers, I would be hunted through the streets of America. So, at the time, spoke pretty good Polish thanks to Kovorski. Brainwashed, no English. Immortal, ugly, non-fluent anomaly immigrant fugitive with no friends or family. Bad recipe for American dream, huh? So I hopped the ship to Motherland, and I made a life there for a time. Shortly after I arrived in Poland, I put my unique skill set to work. I began to rob. Nothing high stakes, no big take, just houses. At first, very small time. Test my laymates, put food in my mouth, cash in my pockets. Sparing you the detail, I discover how primed I was to take over small town after small town. Shortly thereafter, I was rich, well-fed, influential, practically happy. I had no higher ambition, no reason to keep doing what I did, but I did. I kept stealing, and why?
He glanced left to right, then leaned in, cupped a hand to his mouth, and whispered.
Just to steal.
He pulled back, smirking.
I stole to steal. I was a thief only because I wanted to be. Only because I liked it. So one day, after I realized this, I break into house and find daughter is home. Good, beautiful, young Polish girl, eh? You probably don't know, but Polish girls, Prince Kovorski, they are not like American girls. Here, skinny bitch has tight butt and flat chest, and men can't stop drooling over her, but Polish girls are more...
He paused momentarily to cup an invisible yet substantial set of breasts, nodding at me perversely.
buxom, huh? A fuller.
Sure, I granted, mostly just to get him to halt his seedy pantomiming.
This girl was like that. all Polish in all the right places. When she begged me not to hurt her, not to rob her, giving me some story about poor old Papa and his poor old job, I ignored it. I barely was listening. I did not care. She kept going. I heard none of it until she asked me what she could do. What could she do to keep me from robbing her? And remember, this happens after years of stealing without cause. Stealing just to steal relentlessly. This happens after thousands upon thousands of thefts. Yet it hit me this time, maybe I don't steal. Maybe something else instead. I tell her, you want to stop me? You want to save yourself? Show me tits. Let me see those perfect Polish boobs and I will not rob you.
He stopped abruptly, smirked, drank vodka, waited for me to progress the story. Did she, show you?
She did, and so I left. I did not rob.
You are a disgusting manipulative pervert. And what does any of this have to do with my situation?
Everything! Man who kills to kill and man who steals to steal is same kind of animal, brother. Easily distracted. You just have to find a big enough pair of Polish tits. You'll be surprised how far it goes.
Interesting outlook, but I disagree with your assessment in the first place.
Do you? And how is that?
You look at his cavalier malevolence, the way he callously slays millions of humans, the randomness of it, and you say he is killing for sport. I think he simply does not call it killing.
How could he not?
He is indifferent. No, not even that. He is not apathetic toward his murders. He just does not think we count as beings to the extent that what he is doing counts as murder. It is as if he is digging for something. We are merely the dirt he must push aside to find his treasure.
Fascinating.
Micah stroked his chin.
So tell me, brother Cidney, what is the treasure?
I do not know. And he is likely too arrogant to explain himself entirely to a being he considers lesser like myself. Perhaps it is validation. He openly seeks Tyler Foon for the challenge he offers in combat, and he pretended to be Jackson in order to incite Charlie and I to fight more emphatically. Maybe it is all just to prove to himself he is worthy of his own high esteem. He is blatantly prideful, has obviously fallen very hard from very high up. To overcome that disgrace, I believe this is the most likely motive for his conquest.
You overthink, Prince Kovorski.
He scoffed, peering into the vodka bottle with one eye as if it were going somewhere besides his stomach.
Sometimes crazy is just crazy.
And you would know, leper.
Yes, true, I would know.
He grinned, but then his eyes quickly widened.
Hey, we should have wager. I bet you $1 million, eh? What you say, Prince Kovorski? $1 million says he's just fucking around.
Deal. We both smiled as we shook on it, fully aware it was a wager we likely would never settle. It was a sucker bet for me particularly, even if the world was saved from Questopo's wrath. Micah did not have anywhere near $1 million to gamble.
Anyhow, not that I don't appreciate, but you did not come here to give me vodka.
He surmised as we pulled back from our handshake.
And I have important things to do. I'm very busy, convict, so let's not fuck around, okay? Why are you here?
Well, I suppose I will get straight to the point then. Here it is. In my one face-to-face confrontation with Questopo, the being possessing Jackson's mind, he utilized his telekinesis to hoist me into the air multiple times, but during his last attempt, I managed to somehow slip his grip. Our current working explanation is that Dr. Kovorski developed some sort of chemical that is immune to his telekinetic force, and built into me a metabolic pathway to synthesize this chemical in particular conditions.
Good theory. Sounds like Papa, right? Prepared for it all.
You do not have any reason to disbelieve this theory?
Nope.
Do you have any evidence to support it? If he engineered me with this response feasibly, you could have it as well to some extent.
Don't know, never fought Jackson Teak. Only you, brother, it was orchestrated like that, eh?
Of course, but listen, Micah. I paused momentarily, mental preparation to ask my arch-nemesis for a favor. The real reason that I am here. I am a very difficult specimen to gather information from. My impregnable skin, combined with the excessive K-Pack, explosive chemistry, all of it prevents us from testing our theory properly. If you share this anti-telekinetic factor with me, perhaps you would provide a better test subject.
You want me to be guinea pig? Let Green Brother run experiments on me, see if Kovorski gave same magic bullets to kill your friend.
Not kill. It was a needless correction, but by this point, instinctual. Our brother's name is Phil, incidentally, and finally, you would be helping us to save the world.
Pass. I'm comfortable here.
I could not believe how bluntly he had rejected me, motivating my dumbfounded stammer. Micah, this is our only working lead. If our efforts come up fruitless here, if we run out of time deciphering Kovorski's notes and unraveling this mystery...
World go boom, yeah, I know, still. Pass.
We may need you further. I tried my best to persuade him. After we performed the tests, you could help us to fight him. We would grant you agent status, a real life out of this cage. Assuming you have the same resistance that I have to his forces, you could be the piece we need to get us over the hump, and... I ran my hands over my bald head, inhaling and exhaling audibly before I continued. And should it come to it, should Charlie and I fall in battle, you might be one of the few strong enough to kill him and save the world.
Who says I would kill him?
Micah pretended to be hurt by my insinuation of his murderous nature. Please, just consider it. I am offering you your freedom.
Yes, apocalyptic freedom.
He rolled his eyes.
Runs a bit cheaper, Cidney, so for third time, pass.
If he ends the world and you die down here, your life will have been completely pointless.
If he ends the world, all of the lives will be completely pointless.
It does not have to end. You could help us to save it, Micah. It is a chance at redemption that you do not deserve.
And one I do not desire.
You do not wish to help us. At all. To save your own skin, you will do nothing.
Talk. Nothing. Sounds good, eh?
You cannot be this deranged.
Oh, sure I can.
Why? I know I will not understand or agree, but try to explain to me why.
It's just funnier this way. Your hand in apocalypse when you think you're so dignified and good. I prefer this, the joke.
The joke is worth your life.
All the lives, the whole world maybe. It's pretty fucking funny.
You will die alone.
True, but you will die a failure.
I snarled at his arrogant smirk, so irrationally prepared to end his life and the universe, just to have me experience a moment of misfortune. How could anyone be so psychotic? But on top of that, how could anyone hate me that much? It was pointless to deliberate on it. I had no time for his insane games, no time to lend legitimacy to his stupid vendetta. But at least I could say that I gave him a chance to do the right thing. People I cared about needed me more. As for Micah, there is only one thing left for me to say to him after all this time trying for some reason to be his friend. Fuck you, Micah. And he smiled at me, nodded, then let loose a relieved sigh. Like I now finally understood how things were supposed to go. Here at the gates of hell, end of the world barreling down on us just before it was too late.
Fuck you too, brother Cidney. And good luck with your friend, huh? Thanks for vodka.
I considered killing him, tearing off his head and melting his remains with K-Pack and letting the people in the hallway occupy the extra square footage of his cell. Beyond my rage and my hatred, I would do it just to remove him from the picture. One less possible complication, one less little detail occupying some sector of my busy mind. Charlie grouped into the cell before I had a chance to decide.
He gonna help us?
I shook my head and she shrugged, grouped behind him, set her hand over his skull and ungrouped it, blood spurting from his neck like a fountain. She scooped a sample of it into a vial, grouped away. I assumed to hand that sample off to Phil and Enzo, then returned seconds later.
Whatever, Sid, forget him, okay? We got what we need. He's irrelevant.
Yes, of course. I absentmindedly said, then snapped back into reality and nodded at my sister. Sorry, I agree. We do not need him.
Right, bingo.
But what are you doing in the dungeon, my dear? I thought you were assisting Madman
This
with...
takes precedence. It's urgent.
What is the urgency?
He's here, Sid. Right outside of HQ. Quez is here.
Thank you for listening to the Beam Chronicles, a fiction podcast written and produced by me, MJ Dooney. There is something super exciting that I want to get to. You probably already know what it is, but just because I apparently am supposed to do this every time. Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, 5 stars on Spotify or Apple Podcast. Email me, beamchronicles@gmail.com. Send me money, buymeacoffee.com/beamcroniv, or click support the show in the episode description. Okay. New cover art. I hope you all realized the new cover art. This is like my favorite thing I've ever paid for, honestly. It turned out just incredible. So before I say another single word, huge shout out to Janet Shasha for her work on this. She knocked it all the way out of the park. It's everything I ever dreamed of. Please go follow her on Instagram at ChillyBeanArt, ChillyBeanArt. I'm going to leave a link to her Instagram in the show description as well from now on, because I'm really so overwhelmed by how well this one turned out. Seeing my characters drawn is still completely crazy to me. I do also want to give a brief shout out to Randy, my daughter, for helping me find the new artist. It wouldn't have happened without you, honey. That was really one of the sweetest things you've ever done for me. I'll never forget it. All music and sound effects were still sourced from the Epidemic Sound Library. That part didn't change. But special thanks to Janet Shasha for creating the cover art for the show. Find her on Instagram at ChillyBeanArt. And thanks again for listening. I'm going to have to practice that. I've been saying the other one for like 2 years now. Okay, but yeah, thanks again for listening.